Welcome everyone, this is your math tutor Naresh. This is the second video of Introduction to Algebra, Addition and Subtraction, simply combining terms. In the first video we did some examples, and in this video I'm going to do more examples, combining numbers. So the question may say simplify. So previously we learned how to add numbers, positive numbers, negative numbers, but now I'm going to take this into apply it to our not just whole numbers but even decimals. So what if we're given 2.3 plus 5.8? So we add those two numbers, and again every number has a sign, so we can drop the positive in front of the 2.3 and then 5.8. So now we just have two numbers, then they're both positive, and it's just like our regular addition. So you can use your calculator to add decimals, or you can do them by hand. So 2.3 plus 5.8, it's 8.1. So that's the answer. And now example number 2. So 7.61 minus 2.37. So 7.61 is bigger, 2.37 is smaller, so it's a simple subtraction, and you can use your calculator if you're not comfortable adding decimals or subtracting numbers with decimals in your head. So 5.24. And now the next example, negative 4.3 plus 7.1. So in this case, now remember how I showed you the arrows? So how are you going to draw 4.3 arrows facing left? You can draw 4, but how are you going to keep track of 0.3, right? So you don't have to rely on drawing the arrows, because now we know whether the sign is going to be positive or negative. So remember what I had said earlier, that we would rather have a positive number as our first term. So if I rewrite this as positive 7.1 minus 4.3, and I don't need this positive written in front, so that's simply 7.1 minus 4.3, and now this is a simple subtraction, right? 7 take away 4 would get 3, and since we're working with fractions, so we'll just punch in our calculator, 7.1 minus 4.3, so that is 2.8. So this is how you do examples with decimals. So nothing really to, and it's the same concept. So number 4, what if we had something like this, negative 3.0 minus 2.184. So here we're adding two numbers and they're both negative, right? So negative 3 minus 2.184, that's one way to read it. The other way to read this is negative 3 and then you add negative 2.184. So they're both negative, so all we have to do is add the two numbers and then stick a negative sign in front. So 3 plus 2 is 5, so that's negative 5.184. So that's how we combine numbers, whether they are whole numbers or decimals. Okay? Same concept. So now we'll do some examples where we are combining fractions. So example 1, so we have positive 3 over 5 plus 2 over 5. So again, we don't need this extra positive sign in front, so we can just write this as 3 over 5 plus 2 over 5. Right? So we have the same denominator, 5. All we need to do now is add the numbers in the numerators. So over denominator is 5, 3 plus 2 is 5, and now we can reduce it. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So let's do another example. Negative 2 over 3 plus 1 over 12. Okay, so here we are adding a negative and a positive number, so I'm going to have to jump a little bit ahead because we don't have the same denominator. So first we will make the same denominator. So what I need to do here is I can multiply the top and bottom by 4, and the reason I multiply by 4 is so I can get 12 in the denominator. So I know we haven't covered this part yet, but I'm just going to do that so that we can move forward with this question. So the numerator becomes negative 8 over 12, and now this is plus 1 over 12. So we have the same denominator, 12, and now all we have to do is combine the negative 8 and plus 1. So negative 8 arrows facing left, 1 facing right. 1 arrow will cancel from each row, and you'll be left with 7 arrows facing left. So in other words, negative 8 plus 1 is negative 7, right? So 1 take away 8, not enough fingers. So from 1 you can't take away 8 fingers. So 1 take away 8 will give you negative 7 fingers. No such real thing, but mathematically negative 7. So that's how we do that. Okay, so now let's do some more examples. Okay, so let's do negative 3 over 7 plus 17 over 7. So here we have same denominator. Actually, what I can do is I can rewrite the positive one first. So positive 17 over 7 minus 3 over 7. And I don't need the positive sign, so I can remove that. And my denominator is 7. So in the numerator, all I have to do is do the simple subtraction. 17 take away 3, that's 14. And now I can reduce 14 divided by 7. 7 goes into 14 2 times. So since we are at the early lessons, I will show you 7 goes into itself 1 times, and the same 7 goes into 14 2 times. So 2 over 1 gives us 2. Alright, next example. Okay, so if we have, let's say, negative 5 over 6 plus 1 over 20. So in this case, I can't make the denominator the same, right? Like in the previous example, all I had to do was just multiply one term to get the same denominator, and here I can't multiply 6 by any other number where I'll get 20. I'll have to manipulate both terms. So actually what I'll do is I'll show you a different way to do this. Since we worked with the decimals earlier, so what we can do is we can actually convert this to decimals. So what's 5 divided by 6? 5 divided by 6, I know, but I still want to punch it in. So 5 divided by 6 is, alright, so that's negative 0.8333 repeating. So I will stop at, let's say, 4 digits after the decimal. Alright, and then we have 1 over 20. So 1 divided by 20 is 0.05. Okay, so now, so negative 0.8, so this is bigger than 0.05, so overall our answer is going to be negative. So then you can go 0.05. Actually here, so let's write the positive number first. So I can say this is 0.05 minus 0.8333 repeating, and I don't need the plus here. So now you can actually punch this in your calculator, and that will be your answer. So 0.05 minus 0.08333, so this will become negative 0.03333. So that's what I'm getting. Okay, so 0.05 minus 0.8333 1, 2, 3 threes. Ah, my calculator screwed up. That didn't look right. So this is actually negative 0.7833. So 0.05 minus 0.8333, so that's negative 0.7833. Okay, so it looks a little cumbersome, but I just chose to do it using the decimal way because I thought that might be a way to do this, because we just did some examples with decimals. Actually, what I prefer is to keep the fractions, because with the fractions you get a better answer, you get the exact answer, whereas with the decimal it's approximated. So you know what, let's actually do it. I think we do have time, so we can so okay, so the easiest way, okay, I may make the numbers bigger. I can multiply this by 20, and I'll have to multiply that by 20, and I can multiply this by 6, and I'll have to multiply this by 6. So 6 times 20, 20 times 6, I'll get the same denominator, right? So, okay, so this will be 6 times 2 is 12, 120, so that's negative 5, plus 120, 1 times 6 is 6. So when we add this, so all over we have 120, and then negative 5 plus 6, so that's 6 take away 5, so that's 1 over 120. Oh, I made an error. I didn't multiply this by, so negative 5 times 20 is going to be negative 100. Okay, so negative 100 plus 6, and that actually is going to be negative 94. So now we can reduce. So okay, let's recap. We're multiplying 6 by 20, so we'll have 120 in the denominator. And then we need to multiply the numerator by the same number so that we're not changing it. So 5 times 20, that gives us 100, and it's negative. Here we multiply 20 by 6, so we get same denominator, 120. So whatever we do to the denominator, we'll do the same thing to the numerator. So 1 times 6 is 6. And now we simply add negative 106. Negative 100 arrows facing left, and only 6 facing to the right. So overall we have negative 94 arrows facing left, right? So it's negative 94 over 120. And now we can reduce this. So let's see what number will go into 94. So 2 will go into 94 47 times. So we can divide by 2. So if we divide by 2, 2 goes into this 47 times, and 2 goes into 120 60 times. So this equals negative 47 over 60. So what's 47 divided by 60? So in decimals this works out to negative 0.78333, and that's what we had gotten when we chose to do it using decimals. Okay, so you've seen both. We got a little bit ahead of ourselves, but that's okay. It still is useful information. All right, let's move on and do some more examples. Okay, so now let's use more than 2 numbers. So if we have negative 2 plus 7 minus 11 minus 3 plus 2. If we are simplifying something like this, now one approach you can take is write all the positive numbers first and then write all the negative numbers. So let's do that. Positive 7, so that comes first, then the next positive number is 2, so plus 2, and the rest are all negative, and now we'll write them. So negative 2, then we have negative 11, then we have negative 3. Okay, so now what I can do is add the numbers that have the same sign. So 7 plus 2, they're both positive, so that equals 9. And then all these 3 are negative, so I can add negative 2, negative 11, negative 3. So 2 plus 11 gives me 13. 13 plus 3 gives me 16. So, and it's going to be negative 16 because they all have negative sign. And now we've reduced that many number of terms down to just 2. So what's 9 take away 16? So from 9 fingers you can't take away 16, right? But you can do the other way around. 16 take away 9 is 7. So here the answer is going to be negative 7. So this is how you combine when you have more than 2 terms. Remember previously I said there were only 4 examples that you needed to grasp, and once you have those, once you understand those 4 examples, then it doesn't matter how many terms you're given. You'll be able to work your way through. Alright, so next example. Okay, so let's try 14 take away 3 plus 7 minus 15 plus 0 minus 9. So here again, let's write all the positive ones first and then all the negative ones. So 14 is positive, plus 7, right? So, and then the rest are all negative. So we have negative 3, negative 15, negative 9. And this 0, I don't need to write this 0, right? Because we learned earlier when you add 0 or subtract 0, nothing happens. It doesn't change anything. So now add the 2 positive numbers, 14 plus 7, that's 21. And now add all the negative numbers. So 3 plus 15 is 18. 18 plus 9 is 27. And they're negative. All 3 are negative, so it's going to be negative 27. So this is how you reduce, a bunch of numbers that you're given down to 2, and then it just becomes one of the 4 examples that we learned in the previous video. So what's 21 take away 27? And again, 21 fingers can't take away 27, right? So we're subtracting a bigger number from a smaller number. So, but we can do 27 take away 21. So 27 take away 21 is 6, but 21 take away 27, so it'll be negative 6, right? Alright, so now I think maybe let's do one more example and then we'll wrap up the tutorial. Okay, so actually this is a good example. So positive 45, negative 11, plus 0, plus 45, plus 11, plus 17. So this is the question we're given. Simplify, combine the terms. So now, first we can write all the positive ones, but actually let's scan it. We don't need to worry about 0, right? And we have a negative 11 here, and we have a positive 11 here. They cancel each other out, so we don't need to worry about that. So now we can combine the rest of them. So I have 45, and this is positive 45, and plus that's a 17. So they're all positive. So it's just you add 3 numbers. 45 plus 45 is 90. 90 plus 17, so 0 plus 7 is 7. 9 plus 1 is 10. So it's 107, and it's positive, and that's the final answer. So I'm going to wrap up the lesson here. So in this tutorial we continued with the addition and subtraction, combining terms, whether it was 2 terms or more than 2 terms. So I hope you found the tutorial useful. If you did, please like or subscribe, and thank you for watching, and we will see each other in the next video.